Hello, everyone. Justin Crumley here with the CuJo Productions channel. Welcome to another installment of CuJo's Corner, which is my brand new podcast that I just started last week. If you guys haven't listened to the last one, I encourage you to do so. I basically just talk about the Patriots dynasty. I get a little bit into my life and how the Patriots impacted me as a person over the years. Kind of sounds a little silly, but, again, I encourage you to listen to the last one. So, for today's installment, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to talk about something that I don't believe I've covered too much of on my channel, and that's music. Now, I am not a musician. I'm just going to straight up say it up front. I am not a musician. I'm not educated in any kind of musical background. I don't have any kind of musical background. However, that said, music is a part of my family. My uncle's actually played at some local bars. He plays multiple instruments. He's a musician, or I consider him one. And my dad actually plays guitar. He's played in some mock bands. I got a cousin who's also played in some mock bands, and actually, that same cousin and my uncle they've actually had a local, they had a little thing for a while where they would play some local shows. So music is in my family, and I felt like talking about a band that has been a huge influence on me and has actually helped me get through some tough times. And that's Linkin Park. Now, I don't know how popular that is to say nowadays. In case you guys don't know, I'm 27 years old, so, Linkin Park is my favorite band of all time. I was introduced to them at a really young age. I think I was like 8 or maybe 9. I don't know. I might have been younger than that. And I've been I've been a fan of theirs for a long time. I had a buddy in school who showed me their music, and at first it was just the awesome mix of like the rap and the rock, and I think Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington's vocals. It was just great. I loved it. I couldn't really tell you at the time why I loved it. I just did. It spoke to me when I was a kid. I was like, this is awesome. It's loud, it's aggressive. I like it. And, as I got older, I kind of dipped in and out of Linkin Park, but I never really disliked them or hated them. I never went like anti. There was always a moment in my life where I would play one of their songs, and as I said at the beginning of this video, some of their songs have kind of helped me get through some tough times. Not to get too into my personal life or anything, but when I was younger, when I was in middle school, I had a very, like, angsty, aggressive kind of demeanor. I had this idea that, like, everybody just hated me, and I, like, oh, everybody hates me anyway, so why should I give a shit what anyone thinks? I now see that was, like, stupid and kind of like, what the hell was I thinking? But, hey, that's part of growing up, right? So, as crazy as it may sound, Linkin Park did kind of help me get through some of those times. And even to this day, Linkin Park continues to inspire me. Now, I'll get to that like towards the end of the video because I kind of want to talk about some of their music, some of my favorite songs. I want to, share some memories I have of Linkin Park. So I have almost all of their albums. There's only a few I'm missing. I think I'm missing a couple. Probably more than that, but the ones I do have are Meteora, One More Light, Hybrid Theory, Minutes to Midnight, A Thousand Suns, Road to Revolution, and I think that's about it. I think those are the only ones that I have. At least I have a list pulled up here on Google, and I don't have the Live in Texas album or the show. I don't have the Hunting Party, and I don't have Living Things. I also don't have the One More Light live concert from 2017, which I believe was supposed to be like a tribute to Chester Bennington. So yeah, there's probably a bunch of others that I'm missing that I don't even know about. So I wanted to talk about the first album that I guess I feel like I want to talk about is Hybrid Theory. Now, this isn't personally my favorite album, but I do think it is like one of their best albums because I think this was like Linkin Park at their best. This is when they were like loud, aggressive, and they were banging, and it was awesome. Like I said, this was like Linkin Park at their best. So some of the songs on here that stick out, some of my favorite ones. I really like One Step Closer. The song is freaking amazing. The lyrics so freaking aggressive, loud. It makes you want to break shit, dude. It really does. It's a good song to listen to in the gym, I think. Especially the part where like Chester Bennington starts screaming, "Shut up!" It's such an angsty song. I really like it. Crawling, I really love Crawling. I think that was actually the first song I ever heard by Linkin Park. Interesting enough, it's a great song. Really great song. Definitely. Chester's amazing vocals being put on full display in this song. It's just overall, and the lyrics are incredibly deep. And I think he said in an interview that the song actually was about some like personal struggles of his. So it's just a really deep and like great song, I don't know what else to say about it. In the end, probably the most famous Linkin Park song ever. Arguably, I don't know if it's definitely not my personal favorite, and I'm not sure I would argue it. I'm not here to open up that debate, but it is a song I feel that is worth mentioning because it is one of the most popular Linkin Park songs. That is safe to say. And it's a great song. It really good song. Another one of the early songs that I heard from Linkin Park, and definitely one of the songs that drew me in. And actually, my buddy Vinny, this is actually his favorite song from them. So there you go. Pushing Me Away is another good song. I think that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Points of Authority, I think, is also one that I feel is a little maybe I feel it's a little underrated myself. We actually used to play this when I was in high school in the gym, so that was pretty awesome. Paper Cut and Runaway are also really good. Just overall, this album, like I said, I think this is probably the best album from that Linkin Park ever produced. Now, I think this actually was like the last album that I bought, besides One More Light. I think before One More Light came out, this was actually because I didn't actually start buying like Linkin Park albums until like I became an adult and I was able to get money. Most Linkin Park songs I heard, I used LimeWire. Does anybody remember that? Uh, so yeah. Next one, moving on. Next album I want to talk about is Meteora, and much like Hybrid Theory, I do think this is Linkin Park, arguably at their best. This I might actually prefer this album over Hybrid Theory myself. I don't think it's an inherently better album. Again, I don't have any musical background, so I don't stack albums against each other like that. I just listen to the music and go off of my personal opinion of each song. And I got the album pulled up right here. So some notable songs here. Somewhere I Belong. Again, one of the songs I remember vividly as a kid when I was in like 4th or 5th grade listening to a lot. Really, really awesome song. The music video is super bizarre. If you guys have ever seen it, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's definitely really creative, and I think as I go on, I'll talk more about some of their music videos and as I go on. But like, yeah, Somewhere I Belong had a really like weird music video. I remember like the weird looking elephants like or mammoths or something walking around. It's like it's been a while since I've actually watched the music video. And I remember watching it as a kid thinking like, "Whoa, this is weird." But it's like cool at the same time cuz I like the song. I like the music. So, I personally, the music video itself, I do, hey, they're fun to critique sometimes. They're fun to watch. Like I said, definitely creative, but also really bizarre. So, moving on, Lying From You. I love that song. It's a really, really good song. Love it. Easier to Run, I think, is also really damn good. This one, actually, funny enough, my sister introduced me to this song. And when I heard this one and another song off this album that I'll talk about later, this song, Easier to Run, and you know what? Screw it. From the Inside. That was the other song. Those when I heard those two songs, I heard them on like YouTube somewhere, and then my sister actually went and looked up Easier to Run and found out that it was Linkin Park. So that actually pushed me to get the album Meteora because I was like, wow, there's a couple songs I didn't even know about. So I went and bought the album, and yeah, damn good album. Just a damn good album. Faint, just fucking probably one of the most aggressive, loud songs ever. Another song that makes you just want to get up and break shit. But this one, what I really like is like the violin. The dun, 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 dun. It's just there's something really like kind of like edgy and like just awesome. Like I don't know, it's like an action movie or some shit like that. It's fucking awesome. And I get goosebumps every time I hear it. Figure .09, I think that's what the song's called. It might be figure .09. I don't know. That's a good song. I like that song. Not one of my favorites, but I like the beginning of it. The it's awesome. I love it. Breaking the Habit. What can I say about this song that has not already been said? This is probably one of the best Linkin Park songs ever, I think. The lyrics are incredibly deep. The music video is amazing too. It's like fully animated. It's got a really sketchy looking like comic book ish anime kind of style, if that makes sense. But it is gorgeous. I mean, the animation is like really dark and it's just depressing, and it fits the mood of the song really well. And as I said, just easily one of the best songs ever. And just the chorus, where of the lyrics, the I don't know what's worth fighting for or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate and say what I don't mean. I don't know how I got this way. I know it's not alright. So I'm breaking the habit. I'm breaking the habit tonight. I'm sorry you guys had to listen to that. I just I love Linkin Park if you guys can't tell. But nonetheless, Breaking the Habit is easily one of my favorite songs, and I think it's one of the best Linkin Park songs. Can't get enough of it. Um, Last, certainly not least, song I want to talk about. Another very famous song, and probably another one of my favorites. And don't worry, I'm not gonna sing any of this one. But that's Numb. And uh, another one about this one is the music video. It's kind of shot like kind of like a drama, but like it's again, much like Breaking the Habit, the lyrics are incredibly deep, and they kind of make you think. They're very thought provoking. The video is also just really well shot. Really tells a gorgeous story. I don't know how the hell I seriously just described a story as gorgeous. Oh my god, it tells a great story. Let me rephrase that. It tells a great story, and just absolutely one of my favorite songs. And really overall, Meteora is just one of my favorite albums overall. I can't say enough good things about it, and I definitely recommend checking it out. So the next album I want to talk about is Minutes to Midnight. Now, this probably is my favorite Linkin Park album, and this is probably the one I'm going to spend the most time talking about because this was kind of the album. This was actually the first album of theirs that I ever bought. I was about, God, I think I was 14, 15 when this album dropped. Let me look up the year. 2000, May 14th, 2007. So let's see. I would have been 15 going on 16. I was born in 92, so that would be, yeah, I think I would, yeah, 15 going on 16. So I was like smack dab like teenage years. And actually I got this album I think the summer after my freshman year of high school. So yeah, I was about 15 going on 16 when this album came out. And funny story, when I remember playing Wake, which is the first song on the album, and there's no lyrics to it. It's just kind of like a warm up to the album. And when I was 15, I just thought that was the weirdest thing. Like as I said, this was the first Linkin Park album that I ever bought. So obviously, I didn't know it was kind of normal for Linkin Park to start off with like a warm up song. Like the first song on Meteora is literally just like kind of like some beats and like a bottle breaking or something. So when I was 15 and I heard Wake for the first time, I was like, oh, the song has no lyrics. What the fuck? Screw that. It's dumb. Uh, and now I look back on it and think, wow, that I was pretty ignorant. So, what do I think of Wake now? To be honest, I don't listen to it a whole lot. Like I said, it's kind of a warm up song. Not that it's bad. I think it's kind of cool. It's like it gives you that. It's kind of a warm little tune kind of thing. And honestly, songs with no lyrics in them, I sometimes I prefer because sometimes you just need to hear the sound to paint your own story in your head. And I think music's good for that, and that's why I think songs with no lyrics are actually good sometimes. So basically, what I'm saying is my opinion of Wake now as a song is way different than when I first heard it. Given Up, which is the second song on the album, I loved this song when I was 15, 16 years old, and to this day I still freaking love it. It's a great song. There really isn't much else to say about it. It's kind of got that classic Linkin Park feel to it. It's very loud, very aggressive, very very in your face, and very like it screams all the time. And this is kind of like, I think, the song I could see a lot of old time Linkin Park fans really liking and really sticking to as far as this album goes. It's not my favorite song on the album, and to be honest, I don't really have much else to say about it outside of what I just said. So, for me, it's a good song. I love it, but not one of my favorites. Leave out all the rest. This one is interesting. I remember hearing this song, and Linkin Park doing slow songs really had not surprised me at all at that time. My December was a really slow song. One of my Actually, I really like that song too. I don't remember. I think, was that one on Hybrid Theory too? I think I forgot to talk about that one. But uh, Linkin Park doing slower songs, was not a new concept to me. I wasn't really used to it. And this song is super, super morbid. It's the lyrics are really just kind of dark and very, like kind of somber. Maybe not dark. Maybe that's not the right word to use. Maybe it's more like kind of sombering. Like it's a song that I feel like really talks about regret, and like when you die, all the regrets you're taking to the grave. So yeah, needless to say, this song, I feel it's definitely more of the more on the morbid side, but that's not a bad thing. And actually, I think it's a really good song because it's slow, it's poetic, it's actually really touching in a way, and it very thought provoking because, like I said, it makes you think of a lot of like some regrets that you may have in your life. And it's a song that I listen to when I feel like reflecting on something and just kind of coming to terms with how I handled it. It's an emotional song, and it's a really good song. So, is it dark? Is it kind of depressing? Yeah, you could say so, but welcome to the world of music. That's art. Bleed it out. So, much like Wake, this is a song I like really didn't like when I was 15. I don't know why either. It's something about it. The guitar is really cool, like playing in the background the whole time. And the lyrics are all right. I mean, honestly speaking, to this day, This is not one of my favorite Linkin Park songs. In fact, it's next to In Between. It's probably my least favorite song on the album, to be honest with you guys. And I really don't know how popular that opinion is among the Linkin Park community. So, but nonetheless, this is my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Bleed It Out. And, full disclosure, I'm not a huge fan of the song In Between. Not that I dislike Mike Shinoda's singing voice. I think he's got a great voice. In Between, just not a song that ever really caught my attention. There's actually another song I think that's on like the B side of the album. I've never actually tried to find out. But it's I think it's called like no word no words left or something. Yeah, I think it's called No Words Left. I don't. I had heard that it was on a on like the B side of the album, but again, I am not totally sure by it, but about that. But yeah, I think Mike Shinoda actually does the vocals for that song, and it's a great song. It's a really good song. It's called No Words Left. Look it up. Anyway, moving on. Shadow of the Day. Uh, love this song. It might not be one of my favorites, but it's a really, really good song. For me, it's a little uplifting. It's very poetic. Kind of like Leave Out All the Rest, only I don't think this one's near as dark. This one, like I said, it feels a little more like uplifting. This one kind of feels more like, hey, this song kind of feels like it's saying like, hey, there's going to be some good times and there's going to be some bad times, but, you just at the end of the day, you got to stick to who you are and you got to persevere through it. It's uplifting. At least that's the vibe I get from it. That's the message I get. What I've done. uh this is an amazing song. This is the song that kind of put them back on the map and made them famous again in 2007. I remember this song playing in the Transformers movie that came out at the time, which I don't know, to me didn't really make a whole lot of sense for that movie, but you ask anyone that knows me or knew me at the time, I was obsessed with this song. I really was. It was constantly on repeat. I would plug my headphones in, just listen to the song nonstop, again and again. I was obsessed, and maybe it was because I was like, damn, man, it was kind of like this was, like I said, this was the song that kind of brought him back. I remember my buddies telling me, dude, man, Linkin Park's come out with a new album. They released a new song. You got to check it out. It's called What I've Done. And I fell in love with it instantly. And it's a song that, much like Leave Out All the Rest, I keep comparing songs to Leave Out All the Rest. I apologize. But this is more like one where it's about regret. It's about mistakes, making mistakes, and towards the end of it, it's like, there's like that line that says, for what I've done, I start again, and whatever pain may come, today this ends. I love those lines. I really do. I love the song overall because to me, it also resembles like, it also feels like it's talking about like change, like making a positive change, and just like looking back at your past mistakes and saying, screw it, I'm not gonna let it define me. I'm gonna become a different guy, or a person, whatever. And overall, just a damn good song. Hands Held High is another one. I'll try to zip through these other ones as fast as I can. Hands Held High is another one that I really didn't like as a teenager, and to tell you the truth, I don't know why. I listen to the song now. I think it's great. Um, Very poetic. The lyrics are incredibly deep, and just a lot of depressing things in this song, but another one that's very thought provoking. No More Sorrow is more or less feels like a return to Linkin Park at their best, at least in my opinion. Another one that's very aggressive and also, you know, talking about like taking revenge on somebody. At least that's always the vibe I got from it. But I really like this song. It's a damn good song. I always pop this one in when I'm feeling like angry or like I'm pissed off and I need to take my anger out on something. So, needless to say, damn good song. Valentine's Day. This one's a bit weird. I like this song. I really do. I think it's a okay song. It's pretty decent, but not one of my favorites. Kind of like it starts off really slow and then kind of picks up towards the end. So it is really unique. Lyrics are really nice. I guess they're kind of like I guess it depends what you mean by nice. But I like this song overall. It's a bit depressing kind of, but hey, again, I'm no musician. I'm no expert in this regard. I'm just a guy that listens to the stuff and tells you what I think. And I really like this song. I don't know what else to tell you. I already talked about In Between, so I'll skip that. In Pieces, I don't have too much to say about this one. It's a good song. I remember, and I'll get more into this later, but I actually went to a concert and they played this song. And I remember Chester saying, like, this song is basically about somebody you have in your life that is, like, special that you wish would just get in a car crash and fucking die. I'll talk more about that later, but I'll never forget that when I hear the song. So I guess because of that, I always have like a soft spot for this one, but it's not a bad song overall. It's a little different for Linkin Park as far as like sound and rhythm, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Moving on. Actually, no. Real quick. Good song. That's all I really have to say about it. Now I'm moving on. The Little Things Give You Away. This one is just sad. This is an incredibly sad song. Okay, this song is actually about, the events of Hurricane Katrina. Basically what happened after, and you really break down the lyrics to this one. It is a super, super dark song. And I think the most crumbling, like, line is the part that says, I think it says, generations disappear, washed away as a nation simply stares. Or something like that. I something to that effect. I don't have the lyrics pulled up, so I probably sound like a total idiot right now, but it kind of it's like that hurts, but it's like so true. It Now, not that literally we were just sitting and watching like, oh, the levees are destroyed, we're gonna sit here and watch, but like, you know, I don't want to get too into the politics of all of it, but if you guys remember what was going on at the time, FEMA, President Bush really didn't handle the situation well. So that line that I just gave to you guys always seemed to just kind of haunt me in that regard. And just overall, the song is super. Just it's really sad. So yeah, Minutes to Midnight, again, probably my favorite album and the one I easily have the most to say about. Um I'm going to skip Living Things. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go through Living Things. I'm going to talk about a few songs that I know about. Actually, I'm pretty sure I know most of these songs. So, Lost in the Echo, I really like this one. It's you know, great song. I don't have much else to say about it. In My Remains, I am really starting to grow to love this song. I've listened to this song numerous times, and I really don't even know what it is. It's not like it's not the best song I've ever heard by them, but maybe it's just the fast pace kind of rhythm that it follows. I really like this one. It's a good one. Not much else for me to say about it. Burn It Down, again, really enjoy this song. I like the digital kind of piano-ish sound to it. The down 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 down. They also, I think, they used this song for the NBA playoffs one year, so that was kind of cool. Lies, Greed, Misery. I've actually never heard that song. I'll Be Gone. Really love this song. It's probably my favorite song off this album, next to In My Remains. But I'll Be Gone is this one kind of feels like a nice, to me, a nice healthy balance between classic, older, more aggressive Linkin Park and more modern, or I guess I guess I can't talk. I guess I should say more like at the time modern Linkin Park. I don't know. I just feel like there's more of a balance, if that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, not much else to say. I love this song. Castle of Glass. This is the last song I'm gonna talk about from this album because honestly, this is the last song I know of. But Castle of Glass is again probably one of the most depressing songs I've ever heard. And most of it comes down to the music video. It's really sad. I mean, you really have to check it out. It's one of those music videos that really captures a lot of like the struggles of like military families, and I think they actually used this song for I think there was like a video game. I don't think it was Call of Duty, but it was like a war game. The name escapes me at the moment. If you guys remember what it is, go ahead and throw it in the comment section below, because my stupid ass can't remember it. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to move on to Thousand Suns, which I think that came out before Living Things. I'm not totally sure about that off the top of my head. But this one is just weird. This album, I think I said earlier in the installment that this is not one of my favorite albums, and it really isn't. It's and like when you actually I read a little bit about this album. Linkin Park wasn't really trying to create a studio album, and there's 15 songs on this. Now, not all of them are bad. In fact, I don't think there's truly any like bad songs on this, considering that like again, this wasn't really supposed to be like a traditional studio album. But you know, I don't know. Again, just giving my opinion. So I'll go through each song here. The Requiem. I don't really have too much to say about this one. It's bizarre. It's actually like a part of another song in this on this album that comes from The Catalyst, and it's like got some weird like synthesizer, and the voice is really high pitched. It's just a bizarre song. You have to hear it. Then there's the Radiance, which is just essentially like a recording. I think it's I don't remember the name of the guy that said it, but it's like I think it's like the recording of the guy that said, "Now I have become death, the destroyer of worlds." And I again don't remember off the top of my head who famously said that. Burning in the Skies. This is like the first like actual song on the album. And to be honest, this one's pretty good. I like it. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. Uh, Pretty solid song, I think. It's different, but it's good. Moving on. Empty Spaces. Nothing. I have nothing to say about this. It's just crickets, literally. Moving on. When They Come For Me, not really a song I'm a huge fan of. I don't know. This one just never really clicked with me. Uh, so with that said, I'm just gonna move on to Robot Boy. Now, this is a weird song. I don't know what this song is really about, but I'll be honest with you guys. I enjoy this song. It's bizarre. It's weird. I have no idea what it's about. But hey, it's not a bad song. And, hey, at the end of it, it does kind of have an upbeat kind of message at the end and has kind of a positive overtone. At least the sound of it is very, like, uplifting. I also really like the piano in it. The dun, 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 dun. It's just really good. It's a nice little song. Okay, I'm probably gonna botch the hell out of this, but Ornada del Muerto. I'm honestly not familiar with this one, so moving on. Waiting for the End. Probably my favorite song on the album. Next to Iridescent. I'll get to that in a minute. But Waiting for the End I really like. Because, again, this actually feels like a full song. And this one kind of feels like another one of those songs that has that, like, kind of like that happy balance of, like, classic Linkin Park and modern Linkin Park. Again, modern for the time. But I really love the combined vocals on this one between Chester and Mike, and it blends together so well. And the digital synthesizer kind of noise, I'm probably screwing that up big time, but it's a good song. I really love this one. Blackout. This one is different. This one Chester raps, and I don't know if he really raps. He more or less just like screams. And then towards the end, Mike Shinoda shows off his vocals, and I really like this song. It's a good song, especially. I think I honestly like Mike Shinoda's part the most. I'm not even kidding. I really do. The vocals, they're so good. Because you're so used to Mike Shinoda being like really aggressive and like kind of like throwing out more of a rap tone, but in this one he's more like subtle and subdued, and he's got a really good singing voice, and again the lyrics are really good. Floating down as colors fill the light. We look up from the ground in fields of paper white. And floating up, you pass us in the night. A future gazing out, a past to override. So come down, far below. We've been waiting to collect the things you know. Come down far below. We've been waiting to collect and you've let go. I promise that's the last time I'm going to sing. But yeah, it's I like that song. So, Wretches and Kings is all right. Don't really have too much to say about this one. I don't listen to it all that often. Wisdom, Justice, and Love. Again, it's just a Dr. Martin Luther King speech with like some piano playing in the background. Actually, it's like the beginning of the song Iridescent, but not a whole lot to say about this one. It's a Martin Luther King speech. Uh, I believe it was like the Beyond Vietnam speech, I think it was called, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. So moving on, Iridescent. I really like this song, and I know I keep saying that for like every freaking song on the list, but probably my favorite song on the album next to Waiting for the End. Just a really uh, kind of somber song, and it was actually again it was used for a Transformers film. I think it was Transformers: Dark of the Moon. So yeah, and I guess in that regard it works pretty well. Good song. Check it out. Fallout. Don't I don't really listen to this one too often. There's honestly really not much to it. I don't have anything to say about it outside of that. The Catalyst. I actually briefly mentioned this song when I was talking about the Requiem. The Catalyst, to be honest with you guys, I was never really that big a fan of this song. Not that it's a bad song or that it's like, oh, it's so terrible. Oh, I just never cared for it much. Now, that, I don't know how that sits with the Linkin Park community, but it's just my honest opinion. I'm not a big fan of the song. The Messenger. This is a good song. This one is incredibly uplifting. It's one of those songs I feel like you should listen to when you feel like nothing is going right and you can't carry on. This is a damn good song to listen to when you have those kind of moments. Now, I'm not going to talk about the hunting party at all because, to be honest with you guys, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit this, I haven't heard one song off the album. So, moving on, I'm gonna talk about One More Light. This was the last Linkin Park album to come out before Chester Bennington's untimely death. And I remember when the first song that was released from this album was Heavy, which was a collaboration with I think I'm probably gonna botch this, Kiara, I don't know. But there was a lot of backlash from like Linkin Park fans. And yeah, this one was a little different when we all first heard it. It wasn't loud or aggressive. It was more like pop-ish. But I'll be honest with you guys, I never hated this song. Linkin Park to me was always a band that kind of changed and evolved as they went on. They always tried adopting different styles and more or less seemed like they were kind of making it their own. At least that's just that's my perspective. That's my opinion. I can't speak for everybody, but yeah, so needless to say, I really like the song Heavy. I guess I could skip it when I talk about every song on the album. So, anyway, with that said, let's move on to Nobody Can Save Me. It's the first song on the album, One More Light. And this song is alright. I mean, again, not really one of my favorites, but it's it's a song I used to listen to a lot when I would drive to school. And yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's just all right. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. Goodbye. I'm not too big on this one. It's not a terrible song. I just feel like there's like a lot going on in this one, and there's a lot of artists, this was actually a collaboration with like Stormzy, I think I'm reading that right. Stormzy and Pusha T. I don't know either of those two, so I'm not going to say anything about that. Again, not a again, not a terrible song, but not really one of my favorites. Talking to Myself, not really a song that like ever really clicked with me, but again, not terrible. So, moving on. Battle Symphony. I really love this song. And I really like the music video for this one. Well, I don't think there's like a music video for it. Not that I know of. There might be. But I saw the lyric video for it, and it's a damn good lyric video. It was well shot. It was well edited. And but as far as the song itself goes, I really like it. Chester's vocals are really good. I think he does a really good job in this one. There isn't too much like rap in this one. If I don't think there's any at all. And yeah, there's not really anything hard. This is another one that's kind of like popish, but that's not a bad thing. I really like it. Invisible. I've probably only heard this song maybe a handful of times, so I'm not super familiar with it. That said, moving on. I already talked about Heavy, so moving on. Sorry for Now. Halfway Right. I'm just gonna group these two in together because much like Invisible, I probably have only heard these songs maybe a handful of times. Now, I want to talk about Sharp Edges before I talk about One More Light, because One More Light I have a whole lot more to say about. Sharp Edges is alright. It's, it's kind of a depressing song when you listen to the lyrics, but it's not bad. It's got like a bit of a catchy jingle. The lyrics are a bit somber, but hey, such is Linkin Park. So now I want to talk about One More Light. This is, besides, Battle Symphony, probably my favorite song on the album, which I guess isn't saying too much because now that I've gone through, I wasn't as big on this album as I once thought. That's not to say it was bad, and I'll talk more about it broadly after I get done talking about One More Light, but yeah, I can't say enough good things about this song. This is a really, really good song. It's very hard for me to listen to this song and not think of, Chester Bennington and, what's happened since the release of this album. And the song, I think, kind of, reflects all that perfectly. This is a very sad song, I think, to a lot of Linkin Park fans. And I think in that regard, it might be one of their best. as far as the album One More Light goes, it might not be the best, but we're always going to remember Linkin Park. We're always going to remember Chester Bennington. And, I'll address that. I'll address Chester Bennington at the end of this. I want to talk about, but before I do that, I want to talk about some more positive stuff. And mostly it's just a concert that I went to. Linkin Park was one of my first concerts. I went to the Minutes to Midnight tour in 2008 in Detroit. I don't remember where it was. I don't remember where it was, what stadium it was held at, but they put on a hell of a show. It was in Detroit. It was '08, the Minutes to Midnight tour. I actually have a digital download of that concert, and I go back and listen to it, and to be honest with you, it's like I'm 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, listening to Linkin Park all over again. And tell you the truth, it's a great feeling. I love it. I love listening to some of their older music and just reflecting back on my life. And, I guess it's a little hard for me to get into this next part because for a lot of Linkin Park fans, we all remember where we were when we got the news. And I think I was in my room. I had just eaten a couple pieces of pizza, and I think I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of Dimensions. I don't know how that took me 3 times to say that, but and a friend of mine tagged me on Facebook, and initially I thought it was a hoax. It was a news article. It said, "Breaking news: Linkin Park lead singer Chester Bennington dead at age." I don't remember how old he was off the top of my head, but initially I thought it was a hoax. I was like, "Oh, it's gotta be a hoax. Gotta be a hoax. No way, it can't be true." I found out pretty quick that it was true. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Listening to Linkin Park songs from that day, from that day on, was a bit challenging. I just couldn't help but think, like, holy crap, we're never gonna hear Chester Bennington's amazing vocals ever again. And it it really does suck. And for me personally, Linkin Park was such a huge influence on me. And more or less, this is what I was talking about at the beginning. Growing up, I had a very aggressive and angsty demeanor. I had this preconceived notion that everybody hated me. And, now don't get me wrong, I had a small group of, friends in middle school. I had a wonderful family. I had a great cast of people around me. So I wasn't miserable. I had anxiety. And like I said, I had this preconceived notion that everybody hated me and my opinion didn't matter. My thoughts didn't matter. Linkin Park kind of got me through a lot of those moments. And even to this day, I'm a full-grown adult. I'm 27 years old. I'm a storyteller. I love writing stories. I love, film, movies. that kind of stuff. I like coming up with characters and all that kind of stuff. Even to this day, Linkin Park's music influences a lot of my storytelling elements. So, when Chester Bennington died, it was hard, you know? And even to this day, it still is. But the point I'm trying to get across here is we're always going to have those memories. Us Linkin Park fans, we're always going to have those songs, that music, those memories, everything. We're going to have all that. We're always going to have that. Nothing can take that away. And although Chester is no longer with us, his legacy will live on forever. Well, anyway, guys, I think that's going to about wrap this installment of CuJo's Corner up tonight. I want to know, though, what are some of your favorite Linkin Park songs, some of your favorite albums? How has Linkin Park inspired you, or how has their music inspired you over the years? Whatever you think, whatever you want to talk about, throw it in the comment section below. Anything Linkin Park related, go nuts. But I think that's going to wrap up today's installment of CuJo's Corner. Thank you so much for listening to me talk for an hour. I hope you guys found it entertaining. I hope it, I hope it reached out to you somehow, in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, guys, until next time, I'm Justin Crumley, signing out. Signing out.